Hello dear students. In our lesson today, we're going to learn how to write a letter of inquiry. So, how to write a letter in which we're going to ask for some information that we need. Let's not waste time. For example, you want to take an examination in English or in a different language. And you have seen an advertisement and you want to get some extra information. But of course, not every information is given in an advertisement. So you've seen that Badminton English School has got this advertisement: Central London location, ideal for shops, art galleries and museums. We offer English courses for all levels and all exams. We are given the exams, excellent teachers, competitive prices. We are given the phone number to contact, and we are given the email as well. Do you feel that this is enough for you? Do you have all the information that you need? Of course not. For this reason, we are going to write this letter of inquiry to ask for all the information that we need. We have a model. Based on this model, we're going to analyze and we're going to learn what to include in every paragraph. As you saw in the previous advertisement, we were not given the name that we could address that person. So we start our letter with "Dear Sir" or "Madam." The first paragraph. I am a 17-year-old Italian student and I am writing to inquire. As you can see, inquire, you might see it either with an E or with an I. It is the same. About doing an English course at your school next summer. So what are you doing? You are giving now some information about you so that you can show what you want to do. I am particularly interested in doing the Cambridge first exam. I got good marks in my English exam this year and I think I am a B2 level. Could you tell me how long I will need to study and how much it will cost? So what are we doing? We said in the first paragraph. We give some information about ourselves and then we of course state the reason. Why are we writing this letter? Because we want some information, of course, as we can see. Let's move on to the second paragraph. I would also like to know if you can arrange accommodation for me. Could you tell me what kind of accommodation do you provide and how much it costs? Look at the way that this person, that this student asks. He is being very polite. He doesn't say, I want to know, or directly, tell me. No, absolutely not. We have to be very, very polite, and we need to ask in an indirect way when we want to get the information. That's why we start, I would also like to know, could you please tell me, is it possible to tell me? So in this way, we are not being rude, and of course we're going to get the information that we want. So in the second paragraph, what do? We continue by asking polite questions about the information that we want to get. So about the accommodation, we wanted to find information, or about the cost. And we move on in the third paragraph. Finally, as we can see, we are using all those linking words from one paragraph to the second or to the third paragraph. So finally, the last thing, I would be grateful if you could send me the details of how to book a course and how to pay for it. So what do we do here? We are asking from the person, what do we want? We want from them to send us all this information. And in the end, I look forward to hearing from you. We have seen so many times this classical ending. This is very polite, of course. Yours faithfully, because we don't know the name of the person that we are addressing. And in the end, our name with our signature. So this is the model. This is the structure of an inquiry letter. Of course, you saw that we focused on very, very polite ways of asking. Since we inquire, that means we ask. So we're going to practice a little bit of how to ask in a very, very polite way. So we are given the sentence and we need to change it. This is not polite. We have to make it in a polite way. So number one, how long will I need to study and how much will it cost? We are not going to ask in this way. We can choose one of the expressions to start our question. So we can say, could you tell me how long I will need to study and how much it will cost? What do we see? In the first sentence, so in the question, we have the direct question. So how long will, we put the auxiliary verb and then we put the pronoun. Be careful. Now that we are going to give indirect questions, we have only the first part with the question. The second part is a simple affirmative sentence. So, how long I will need, not how long will I need. So again, direct questions, normally a question. Indirect questions, the question is in the first part, and the second part we have got an affirmative part. So, how long, who, I, what will need to study. That is very important for you because this is how we're going to work in every single sentence. Number two, can you arrange accommodation for me? This is direct, we said. Let's change it in an indirect, polite question. So we can use, I would also like to know if you can arrange. That was the question. Can you arrange? Now we don't have a question anymore. So if you can arrange accommodation for me. Number three, what kind of accommodation do you provide and how much does it cost? That is a direct question. We can use one of the expressions that we have here and we can say, could you tell me, so we're being polite, could you tell me what kind of accommodation? Now, we're not going to use an auxiliary verb, so we're not going to use do. What kind of accommodation you provide and how much it costs. So again, it's not a question anymore. Only the first part has the question. The second part continues normally as an affirmative form, as an affirmative sentence, let's say. And number four, please send me details of how to book a course. We cannot tell them in that way. We aren't polite. So, what are we going to say? I would be grateful. I would really appreciate it if you could send me details of how to book a course. So, we don't have a question here, as you can see. We're only giving an affirmative sentence. We are being polite. We never forget that. Now, we need to complete the indirect question. We have the question and we need to rewrite the sentence in an indirect way. Does your school have a canteen? Could you tell me if your school has a canteen. So we have the if form and the continuation. So if the school has a canteen, not a question. Can my friend stay in the same host family? I would like to know if who? If my friend can stay in the same host family. Number 3. How far is the school from the nearest tube station? We cannot ask in this way. Could you tell me what? How far the school is, not how far is the school. This is a question, we said. Now we have an indirect form, indirect question. So how far the school is. So first we have the subject and then we have the verb. So how far the school is from the nearest train station or tube station. And number 4, how many students are there in a class? That is a direct question. I would like to know what? How many students there are, and not are there, because this is not a question, we said. Okay. One more thing to practice. We're giving the answers and we're going to form the questions. So what could the question be so that we have this answer? The answer is, the school is about 10 minutes from the town center. There could be different ways to start the question. We're going just to practice one. So we can say, could you tell me how far the school is? Don't forget, we said we put first the subject and then the verb. Yes is another answer. We have special exam courses for your level. So what could the question be? Well, we can say, I would like to know if there are special exam courses for my level. That could be one way to start. And question number 3, we are given the answer. We arrange weekend trips for the students. We need to ask in a very polite way, so we can say, I would like to know if there are weekend trips for the students. And this is, of course, an informal, formal way to ask our question. And number 4, yes, there are usually different nationalities in the same class. How can we ask? How can we start our question? Or how can we get our information that we need? We can say, of course, could you tell me, is it possible to tell me, I would like to know if there are different nationalities in the same class. So once again, we said we have the beginning, that is the question, that's why we have a question mark, and the second part that is in an affirmative way. That's why we have there are and not are there. All right, and let's practice by giving all that structure that we need to keep in our mind when we write letters of inquiry. So these are the words that we need to complete. You are not going to forget that we start the letter or the email with Dear Sir or Madam when we don't know the name of the person that we are addressing. So we don't know the name Dear Sir or Madam. When we know, of course, we can start with Dear Mr. Brown, for example. We don't use abbreviation, so we don't say I'd. We have to say I would. We don't say I'm. What should we say? I am, of course. We have to be very polite, we said, when we ask the information. Like, I would also like to know, or could you tell me, for example. We ask somebody to do something for us. What do we want from them? We want the information. So I would be grateful, for example, if you could send me all the details that I asked you. We say that we expect for a reply, so that is the classical expression that we're going to use. I look forward to hearing from you. Don't change it. Keep it and use it in every formal letter. And we finish the email or the letter with yours sincerely if we know the name of the person. So if we start Dear Mr. Brown, we finish yours sincerely. If we don't know the name and we start Dear Sir or Madam, we finish with yours faithfully. And of course, our name in the end. And now, you are going to write your own letter of inquiry as homework. So, you have seen this advertisement and you want to study at St. John's School. So, you want to study English there. You are going to read very carefully the advertisement. You are going to focus on all those details that we discussed together, and you're going to write your email of inquiry. I hope everything is clear, and I hope that you have understood all those steps that you need in order to write the letter and get the information that you need. Goodbye.